Hi, this is Carl with another super success video for IT service providers and really for all business owners everywhere. Today I want to talk about how we lose focus on the customer. Ultimately, I believe you have to start with the customer in mind. If you don't know who your ideal client is and you don't know how you serve them, you really cannot provide great customer service. Ultimately, customers just call it service. So if you think about it from the customer's perspective, if you cannot serve them what they want and the way they want it, you can't serve them. And there are two ways that we go wrong once we get it right. So getting it right consists of defining your client and then answering the ultimate question: who do you serve and how do you serve them? Once you know who you're going to serve, then you have to figure out what they need and how you're going to give it to them. And there, if you think about it, consider like a periscope that's looking up, submarines that are looking up over the water. They're trying to find the beautiful, lush island, right? Whatever. That's your goal. The goal is customer service. And if you find the right customers and you give them the right service, well, then you've found your goal. And there's a couple of ways where we get off track. The fastest and easiest way, which happens to almost all companies, is that you get addicted to your product line and your service line. So it's most obvious in the world of products, right? If you're selling hammers, everything looks like a nail, right? You've heard that 1,000 times. But it's true with computers, it's true with monitors, it's true with phone systems. If you say, whatever your problem is, this computer system is going to solve it. This service is going to solve it. And then in the world of services, it becomes my line card, my stack. Here's what we do. Here are 3 options. Pick one of these. Managed services, A, B, C, gold, silver, platinum. What do you want? What makes you happy? Well, that's a beautiful shopping list. And if it's exactly what the client needs, then you're golden. But the problem is you're not customizing a solution for the client. Really, what you should do is say, what do you need? How can I help you? Start that conversation and truly understand the client and their needs. Then, if you want to sell them what part of your stack, fine, you should do that, but it should be part of a bigger picture of what they actually need. If you just take your stack and sell the exact same thing, boop, 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 to every single person you can find, you have limited your success because you have limited the amount of actual service that you can deliver to a client. And you've taken a huge step towards commoditizing yourself, your business, and your offering. Ultimately, think about how you want to buy things. You want to have a side-by-side comparison. Like you go to Amazon and you put something in your shopping cart. You scroll all the way to the bottom and you can say, okay, here's this product, and here's 3 or 4 other options, boop, 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 and here's the features that go across, right? Well, okay, I want managed services. I put this in my cart. That's my current MSP. And now we got these others, and they offer slightly different things, and they call them slightly different things, but they all provide email. They all provide Office 365. They provide antivirus, spam filtering, backup, disaster recovery, tick, 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 tick. And now it's all about, that's right, the bottom line. And then it's really easy to see who's cheapest. Pick that one. And the amount of service is irrelevant to the question. I would argue, if you are being shopped that way, that's a choice you've made and you've done it to yourself. You can choose to focus on the client first and get that periscope focused on that beautiful desert island where you can have joy for the rest of your life. but it means you have to put the focus on the client and not on yourself, not on your preferred offering. If you are not flexible like this and putting the client first, you will have great difficulty when the economy becomes shaky and iffy and people are not sure what to do. If the focus is 100% on the client and what they need first, and they would define what you do as serving them, then you're going to be just fine. But if you are just another commodity seller of a bundle of services that look like every other bundle of services, well, you might have some trouble. Now, I said there were two main reasons that we go off and get our focus wrong through the periscope. One is to focus on your products and services as if that's what you should be selling. Just because it is what you're selling doesn't mean it should be what you're selling. The second thing, and this happens with larger MSPs, larger companies of any kind, is that the focus of what gets sold is determined by the sales department, who actually don't care in the big picture whether the company makes money as long as they make money. And so as a result, it is what will pay me the highest commission in the shortest amount of time in the next 3 months so that I can make another house payment, buy another boat, go on vacation, whatever it might be. The sales department takes people off track. Now, at the far end of this scale, at the worst example of this, you have companies like Wells Fargo that incentivize their own people to rip off their customers and meet those metrics, meet those KPIs, and it's all about the numbers. And whether or not the company goes bankrupt, they actually couldn't care less. They will go sell whatever it is to whoever they can, and they'll just go and find another job. Now, that isn't a huge experience in the small end of the managed service space, but it is an experience that I see from time to time. When I take on larger coaching clients, there's very frequently some clash between the goals of the company and the goals of their own sales department. Even in companies as small as $10 or $20 million, you've got salespeople who really are mostly motivated by the KPIs that have been created to give them bonuses. Whatever their fee structure is, they're going to make it happen. And their periscope is absolutely not focused on the customer. It's not even focused on the boss. It's focused on themselves. We need everybody to focus back on the big picture, because ultimately the long-term success strategy for the salespeople, for the ownership, for the technicians, for everybody in the company, the long-term success strategy is focus on giving the client what they need. That's why they engaged you. That's why they stay engaged. That's why you get to have a job. You get to have a business, and they get to have spectacular customer service because it's focused and built around them, the customer, not you, not your salespeople, not the amount of money you're going to earn from one more license or one more endpoint within your stack. Something to think about. What's your focus? Where is your periscope pointed? Who do you serve? And how do you serve them? Comments and feedback welcome. For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palachuk wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.